Screencast. My name is Jaden, and the topic I'm doing on is the alcohol tax. Just to give you some background information, in 2023, Canada is introducing a new tax on alcohol that will increase each year with inflation. This means that alcohol prices are expected to rise by more than 6% next year. And this new tax is hard on the Canadian beer and wine industries, which are already facing higher costs in productions because of the climate change to produce grapes. The competition from outside of Canada makes it worse for the Canadian alcohol industries. The alcohols from the outside Canada were subsidized by their government, which makes it cheap, and so there is tough competition in the market. Well, why did the government implement this policy? The government added indirect tax to alcohol because the consumption of alcohol causes negative externalities and is not good for society. And why does negative externality occur? Well, a negative externality occurs when marginal social benefit, as shown in the as MSB, is less than the marginal private benefit, which is MPB, which is shown in the diagram. And in the diagram, there's also a welfare loss that occurred because of overconsumption of alcohol. And welfare loss is a negative cost to society due to overconsumption of alcohol that is not covered by the price consumer pays. And the welfare loss is economic efficiency, which are health issues, crime rate, and drunk driving, etc. And why does it cause market failure? The alcohol market does not account for the negative externalities naturally, which leading to a higher quantity consumed, which is Q1, than is socially optimal, which is our QOPT. And this results in a societal cost higher than the benefits that was gained, which is inefficient from an economic standpoint. And in this graph, the overconsumption also happens. And why does overconsumption happens? Because in the graph, the quantity of alcohol consumed, Q1, is higher than the socially optimal quantity, which is a QOPT. And this happens because the market price, which is our P1, consumers pay only reflects the marginal private benefit and ignoring the higher marginal social costs. That includes negative externalities like health and social issues. And here's the schedule after the government intervention. So in this graph, the indirect tax increases the price of alcohol from P1 to P2, leading to a decrease in the quantity consumed from Q1 to QOPT. And this price increase makes alcohol less affordable, which discourages excessive alcohol consumption, and therefore reducing the quantity to a more socially optimal level, which is our QOPT. The area between the original marginal social cost curve and the new marginal social cost plus tax curve at the higher consumption level Q1 represents the welfare loss due to negative externalities. With the new tax, the welfare loss is reduced because the social costs are now more accurately reflected in the price of alcohol, and the indirect tax reduces the consumption to a level that is closer to what is ideal for society. Well, what are the pros and cons of the solution? Well, the pros of the solution is revenue generation, which means that these taxes are a significant source of revenue for governments, and those taxes can be used to fund public services and infrastructures like healthcare and education. And there are also health benefits for society. By increasing the cost of harmful products like alcohol, indirect taxes can lead to better public health outcomes. But although there are benefits to implementing indirect tax, there are also cons to consider about. Alcohol is an addictive product, and adding an indirect tax will only stop the consumers who are not addicted, and that is not the vast majority of consumers consuming this product, which means that most consumers that's consuming this product are addicted to alcohol. And there's going to be a regressive impact. The indirect taxes can be regressive because it impacts lower income individuals disproportionately since they pay the same tax rate as wealthier people on the goods. It can only stop the less fortunate consumers, and the consumers who are more fortunate will ignore the tax and keep consuming alcohol. And there will also be a cost of black market because high indirect taxes can encourage the growth of black markets, which will harm the overall economics of the country. And here are the long-term and short-term issues. So the short-term issues are consumer behavior adjustment, which means that consumer might temporarily reduce alcohol consumption, but they could switch to harmful alternatives that have the same effect as alcohol, which is cheaper, but it's going to be more damaging to their to their health. And there's going to be a public resistance because there going to be an immediate backlash, like strikes from consumers and businesses, especially if the tax was too much or like too unfair to the consumers. And it'd be an economic disruption. So rapid changes in alcohol prices can temporarily disrupt the market, which affecting everything from sales to employment within the industry, like losing jobs. And the long-term issues are like market distortion. So long-term taxes can lead to permanent shift in the market structures, possibly distorting competition and leading to inefficiencies, which means that Canadian alcohol industry will never win against foreign alcohol industry. And that relates to the next long-term issue I'm talking about, which is cross-border shopping. So individuals might start purchasing alcohol from regions with lower taxes and cheaper, therefore affecting the local businesses and the tax revenue from the government. And another long-term issue is black market growth. High taxes might create a black market for alcohol, which undermining legal sales and reducing the safety of alcohol consumption, because there's no laws in the black market. Well, here are the impacts on the strike holders. So for the consumers, they'll face higher prices, which can reduce the accessibility of alcohol, and this will lead to decreased consumption, or consumers who are addicted will seek cheaper alternatives or illegal sources, as I mentioned before. So for producers, alcohol manufacturers and distributors might see a decrease in demand due to higher prices, impacting their revenue and profit. So they might need to adjust the production levels of their products to mitigate losses. The government can benefit from this increased indirect tax revenue because this can be used to fund public services. And the employees in the alcohol industry could lose their job because reduced demand leads to a decrease of production facilities. If tax revenue are used effectively for public welfare, there could be a job creation in other sectors of public services. Was this solution effective? Well, in my opinion, I think indirect tax on alcohol is not the best solution to decrease the consumption of the product. Alcohol is a highly addictive product, which means that consumers who are already addicted to alcohol are going to purchase the product no matter the price. And if the price is too high, consumers will purchase alcohol in the black market or a different country, which is not beneficial for the government. Instead of adding indirect tax to alcohol, I think the better alternative is to spread negative advertisement around consumption of alcohol. And by doing this, consumers will realize the negative impact of consuming alcohol to their own personal health, therefore reducing the consumption overall. And that's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening.